AI truly taking hold and generating real value?
One of the things that happened this past year is that we moved from experimentation to production.
As EVP of Product and Engineering at CoreWeave, Hen brings a unique perspective across use cases.
Every time you solve one hard problem, a new problem comes along, and the pace of change is actually something we've never experienced before.
In this episode of AI Cloud Essentials, she highlights the pioneers using AI to make major leaps forward in productivity, innovation, and competitiveness.
Those who lean in and try and are not afraid to fail are the ones that are seeing the best outcomes.
If you are in the C-suite, this episode is for you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 2 of the AI Cloud Essentials, a podcast series brought to you by CoreWeave. Today, we are talking about all the enhancements in the industry in terms of agentic AI, from models to agents. And I'm pleased to be so excited to be joined by Chen Goldberg. We are going to talk about the transition in the industry. And Chen, welcome to the show. Today, I'm going to kick things off by asking you to talk about your journey. What excited you in this transitioning phase in the industry? What excited you to join CoreWeave and the foundations of AI native cloud that you guys are working on?
Thank you so much for having me. Look, I've been my entire career really focused on empowering innovation. Okay, I used to work in an IT organization, then in a cloud provider, and enabling innovation always has this tension. We have ideas, and not always the technology can keep up, right? So the technology can hold us back of how quickly we can move. And one of the things that I've been really fortunate in my career is to be part of the cloud transformation that happened about 15 years ago. So I'm part of the team that have brought Kubernetes to the world when I used to work at Google Cloud. And what I loved about that time is that, we had this cloud, infinite resources, elasticity, speed, scale. But if you were just doing lift and shift to the cloud, you cannot really use those resources on your behalf. And what we've done with Kubernetes, and actually an entire ecosystem, what we call the cloud native ecosystem, we created a new set of tools that for the first time made some of those promises that we've been working on forever, okay, like literally forever, possible. And you could see teams building application without like having a big data center. So everybody were able to achieve that. And really, our main goal back then was to what we call make the infrastructure boring. Okay, let developers just focus on development. And then something has changed 4 years ago, or something like that. Technology was actually moving ahead beyond what we thought was possible.
Yeah.
And that's if you remember what happened when ChatGPT came to the world.
Yes.
Everybody were shocked. And that's strange, right? Like suddenly everything around this new technology have to start catching up. And from my experience, doing this kind of leaps in technology and innovation is not something that you can just retrofit. And I really wanted to look for a place, especially me being, in this journey in my career in infrastructure, that we can really reimagine how cloud computing should look like in the AI era, because there were new bottlenecks and new challenges. And I was lucky enough to meet the CoreWeave founders, which not only we share the same passion, we believe in the same vision. They're also extremely fun to work with. And the rest is history. We're very proud with everything we've been building, being the first AI native cloud.
Awesome. So like minds do kind of come together. Awesome. I've been reading a lot in the industry about how things are evolving very fast. And you guys have a broad, set of customers' breadth and depth and very diverse set of customer base. As we have transitioned more from simple chatbots and assistants to agentic applications and AI applications, data is very, very integral to it, right? And I would love to hear from you some of your customer case studies or customer wins, that customers that you're working with, and use cases where data and is very integral to their success, and how are you guys kind of helping your customers?
Internally, we keep joking that we like running towards the hard problems. And I actually had a customer meeting last week, and that person was mentioning like that what they are seeing is that every time we solve like a big problem, we find a new one. And I think that's something that we all need to get used to with the pace of change. So as we were working with customers and moving from a more training in and inference and just scale and more customers, one of the things that we worked really closely with one of our customers, Cohere. So Cohere is a Toronto-based company, the builders of the platform, the agentic platform North. And what they said, like, okay, we have this really powerful cluster, GPUs are amazing, everything is up and running all the time. This is amazing. However, how can we get then now more data into the GPU? Okay, because again, the bottleneck has just shifted. We want to make sure that we get the best utilization, the best efficiency. And we were working with them on a creative way. Something that was what we've done is actually we were leveraging our GPU nodes in order to build a new distributed caching mechanism, especially for running AI workloads. And we were able to achieve up to 7 gigabytes per second per GPU of throughput with that solution. So, that's been amazing. Of course, it's created, we've learned that there are some new bottlenecks along the platform, but what it really allowed our customers is to process and achieve really a speed of light innovation.
Awesome, awesome. That's so must have made you and your team so proud of that. When you think about your other customers that I kind of read about, spanning in e-commerce and whether in different industries, is there something that jumps out that couldn't have been done on the previous version of the clouds, and where your AI native cloud really shines to support that use case? Would love to hear perspective on that.
One of the things that happened this past year is that we moved from experimentation to production. If you think about it, what was the sentiment around AI a year ago, there was a lot of uncertainty. People were not sure whether they will be able to successfully demonstrate value, create new use cases. And that has completely changed in just 12 months. Right? So one of the areas that definitely is leading that space is the coding space, right? Like how engineers are working. But this is actually spreading extremely quickly to other areas. And I think this is where it's really important to build an AI native cloud, because those customers not only need to be able to access new technology, but they also care about reliability, security, enterprise readiness. And one of the customers that I'm really proud that we are able to partner with is Mercado Libre. So Mercado Libre, for folks who don't know, is the largest e-commerce company and a financial service in South America. And they came to us because they were experimenting, and they saw amazing results with what they can do in reimagining their search capabilities in their e-commerce platform. Okay, so they call it like Search 2.0. And the way that we were able to partner with them is allowing them to get the right signals of how to scale these new capabilities in production. Okay, because sometimes, you work with models only and you see the results, which is, of course, great. But when you're a company like Mercado Libre, you're serving so many customers, so many users, and there are so many things else to consider beyond just how the application works. And that's what we've been working with that team. So that means allowing them to think about their operational excellence, what kind of signals, how does observability works, performance, security, and that's been a really amazing journey. And the feedback from them is that all of that specific special tools that we provide allows them to innovate in the pace they need.
Great, great. And I think, as you were saying, like, the ability to hyper personalize for the customers is something, with the transformation and all the technology and the advancements and such. That's fantastic to hear. So, since you've been a pioneer in the industry and your team and you are kind of leading the curve here, what are you seeing in the next 12 to 24 months that needs to be done to meet the ongoing demands of innovative customers? And how do you kind of, support their, needs right now?
What's interesting is that we are really just at the beginning of this journey.
Yeah.
And I mentioned before that every time you solve one hard problem, a new problem comes along, and the pace of change uh, is actually something we've never experienced before.
Yeah.
So I don't think that we are excellent at predicting the future as humans. But if you ask me I think are the main focus areas for us as a company, it will be really two things. One, we want to make sure that it's easy for everyone to innovate with AI, right? So how can we really lower that barrier to entry? And we're doing that across the stack, okay? We're doing it, if you think about our weights and biases models and Weave and our inference service, making sure that for developers and researchers, accessing very powerful infrastructure and models with the right performance, with the right security is easy. And also helping, platform teams, enterprise customers have access for the right tools and services they need in order to build those new applications. So that's like really one area of focus of ours. The second thing that we are really focusing on is something that we take pride in. I believe that speed matters. Okay, we talked about how fast the industry is moving, but what it actually means
Yeah.
that's how fast people are moving, right? Like innovation is not happening on its own, and we are uh, uh, optimizing for speed of the customers. Like really, when we're asking ourselves questions internally, is what can we do to achieve faster experimentation, and we're building tools that allows you to get evals. We are building our own agents to help researchers and developers. And we're also making ourselves available. I think one of the things, when we think about pace of innovation, it means that not only you need to have the right resources, you need to be able to connect with people faster, solve a problem faster, make decisions faster. And we are showing up in that way. And if I may, maybe I will just give one example of one of our customers. So Mistral is a French-based company. They are a foundation model builder, and actually one of our first customers of CoreWeave. And it's been amazing that the journey with them, partnering with them. They take pride in being lean. We take pride in being lean, and together with them, we've developed what we call direct to expert. Okay, it means that how we partner with them, allowing their researchers to talk directly with our engineering team. And that's something that by doing that, we as a team, we are working as one. We can move really fast, and I know they appreciate it, and we appreciate it because we get to learn a lot about their work and how we can be more helpful.
Yeah, I think we always kind of talk about collaborative partnership to bring in the best of the industry. So that's fantastic. And as you were speaking about your customer scenarios, I was thinking, it's all about, that how things are not just being done for experimentation anymore. It's being deployed in production. So people need the end-to-end scale, end-to-end monitoring, end-to-end evaluation, and production scale. So that's fantastic. It's really heartening to see from the outside that what you and your customers are able to achieve, and the journey continues. What would your viewers who are listening to us today, what would be your parting advice? What would you tell them? And, I'm sure they'll be very, very excited to hear from you.
I will tell everybody what I'm telling my team: lean in. What we have seen is that those who lean in and try and are not afraid to fail are the ones that are seeing the best outcomes from this new technology. And I think it's actually deep because there's a lot of conversations that are talking about how can you get the best out of AI. And what I've seen is that people that know how to bring their experience and expertise and lean in, it becomes like your superpower. Yesterday, I was talking with a team within an engineering team within my organization here at CoreWeave, and I asked them like, how do you guys feel now with all the coding agents that we are using?
Yeah.
And they said like it's a force multiplier.
Yeah.
Like we can do more, we accomplish more things, we can actually work on the hardest problems with this new set of tools. And I believe we will see this kind of effect in every industry, and that's exciting. I mean, a little bit scary for sure, but I imagine that's always how it feels.
Yeah, but as you said, the pace of innovation, we have never seen this kind of a pace of innovation, and it's changing right in front of our eyes so rapidly. But having said that, it's not an option to sit on the side and the fence. You have to lean in, you have to kind of play with it. But also, I also joke that, you have to fail fast. You don't kind of prolong the pilot purgatory kind of thing. But thank you so much, Hen. It was so wonderful to have you in this particular episode. People are going to really be very, very happy listening to what you're doing. And with that, I'd like to thank on your behalf and my behalf, everyone who listened to us, and stay tuned. We'll continue this journey. And thank you once again, Hen.
Thank you so much for having me.